So tell me a story about how your serving in the world has changed what you think it means to be a Christian.
I grew up doing service projects, and some of them were short one-hour deals, and some of them were, weekend-long pieces, and some of them were week-long experiences. And as you engage in those, no matter how long or short they are, you start to see firsthand what it means to have your faith moving in the community that we're a part of. Getting your hands dirty, spending time shoulder to shoulder with people that are maybe a little different than you, maybe have a different background, a different story, allowed me to see how this stuff that was written in this ancient text was designed to be acted out and really shown to everyone that would be willing to listen what it means to be a follower of Christ. Putting hammers and nails together did so much more than build a home or repair a shed. It allowed the love of Christ to be visual and audible, and it changed how I saw working with kids.
I am called to word service, which as a diaconal minister in the ELCA, called to be with people at the foot of the cross. To be with people who are at a time in their life where they just need support, help, and are just needing someone to be there with them. And through that, I'm called to serve people in need, and at this point, and those are people that can be any one of us at any time in our life, and can be someone that we know, our neighbor, our grandparents, our parents, ourselves, our family members, anyone. And so we meet people where they are, and we sit with people and we listen. Sometimes we just need an ear to talk and get it out, and understanding that we are all God's children, and we all need someone with us. And that call is extremely important. It's what Christ has called us to here. And so we need people. We all need people at some point in our life that will step up and do that for us. And as a called diaconal minister in the ELCA, that's what I feel called to do all the time. That is my call in ministry, is to be with people when they need something.
To live our faith in the world, because that's exactly what Christ did. He didn't sit in one specific location and wait for people to come to him so that he could share the same thing over and over and over. He went out to the corners, he went out to the darker areas, he went to the places that people were marginalized, and he shared what he needed to share, which was the true love of God embodied in his physical being. We're called to do the exact same thing. We're called to gather, to pull together, to find strength in what we believe as a common set of values, a common story, the gospel, but then to move out, to take those lessons, those morals, those values, those compassionate pieces out to the places where they're needed the most, out to the darker areas, out to where the needs are visible and huge, and live what Christ lived today. It's not a story that needs to stay 2,000 years ago. It's a story that needs to be lived out tomorrow. And the way we live it out tomorrow is by living it out today and then repeating it.
People in service, both locally and then on mission trips, tell us, what difference do you see it playing in their lives and in the communities you serve?
Well, locally, when people are here, they have an opportunity to be, that's very convenient, easy to get to. God touches them in some fashion. But what we try to do is we try to help them connect the dots, that when they're serving with us at Prince of Peace or anywhere else, God is also in other places too, not just when they're serving. God is also present in daily life everywhere. When we take them internationally, it tends to take people out of their comfort zone. I often go to a place in a developing world country where a lot of people have never been before. And when they get there, they're always kind of freaked out, wondering, what can I do? This isn't normal, this isn't the same. And the dependence on each other as a group, the dependence on God, heightens significantly, and people are way more aware of what God is up to and touching them in new.
Because kids are hungry and adults are hungry for an opportunity to do church stuff. They want to do ministry. They want to be active in the things that they believe. If they believe about this sport, if they believe about this musical instrument, they're going to do that. They're going to engage in that in a very physical and a very emotional way. Church, quote unquote, it needs to operate the same way. Kids want to be a part of doing something that's tangible and meaningful, and they want to be invested in that because it not only provides a sense of worth for who they are, but it shows the rest of the world that kids of all ages, adults and kids, can truly make a difference. And then you back that up to, why are you making a difference? We're making a difference because we believe the story of Christ.
So think about, if we're a ministry leader and we're leading service into the world, what are some things we need to be mindful of as we engage other communities?
Well, understanding, I think that everybody is a different place in their life, and that we're all God's children. Everyone is. And for me, when I think about everyone being a child of God, that puts them in a place that I know I'm serving God when I'm with them. And I know that as a called, rostered leader, it's my job to serve and to respect and to love them as Christ loved them, as Christ taught us to love each other. And that's where the starting point is every time I meet someone.
What is a way that we can be respectful of where people are at? Maybe they've been hurt before, or they've had all kinds of people kind of come and do good, but not really care for them. What are some things we can be aware of?
Well, first off, you want to listen to their story. Hear where they're coming from. Really deeply listen. Don't just, spend 2 minutes with them and then think that, that's it. But take the time to get to know someone, because it's through relationships and listening that we really hear deep down what's going on. And once you go there and then understand that they are not looking for someone to just give them everything, that's not respectful. You actually can hurt them by doing that. But you can support them and guide them and help them find what they need.
So many people will say short-term mission trips sometimes are more abusive than they are actually helpful for the communities. What would you say to that?
I can easily see how that would be. We are Americans, white, Caucasian, and we've got all the answers. We're highly educated, ha. Most people think that we have the answers, but actually when we go to visit a developing world country, we actually learn a lot. And the interesting thing that we learn is all about relationships and how valuable they are. And as long as we don't go and impose what we think they need because we are Americans, it tends to be a much better place. If we lead with our ears and listen to what the community is asking for, and then we partner with them in engaging in some activity to help move their world along, it is a far better experience. But if we come in with our arrogance, it is just a miserable thing, and it becomes a waste of time, a great frustration for us, and even a greater frustration for the community that we're serving.
So what do you say to people in your congregation that give you pushback around why we should be doing service?
Well, when I started in this position 12 plus years ago, I was warned about one gentleman in the congregation that was going to come to me and push me and challenge me and ask me questions that I probably didn't want to be asked. And this particular day, he came in and he asked me about all this money that was being spent on a mission trip on an individual to go to a country. And he asked the question, or made the statement that we could actually, by sending the money, would actually do much better for that community. He continued to talk, and eventually, as he got through it on his own, and me asking just a couple of little questions along the way, he eventually said, but I suppose you can't put a price on what God does inside of us. And so, all of a sudden, he stopped asking questions, and he kind of got it and figured it out, that maybe God does touch us, and we do become a different person by engaging in these activities, even if they are expensive, and even if the money maybe could be spent in a better way.